Imagine a routine international flight. Nothing unusual. Passengers are boarding normally. Crew is preparing for a long overnight journey. Luggage is loaded. Engines are checked. Flight path is cleared. Everything is exactly as it should be. This is flight MH370, a Boeing 777-200ER, one of the most advanced passenger aircraft ever built. On board, 239 people, 227 passengers, 12 crew members. They are about to take off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, bound for Beijing. A standard route. A standard night. A standard flight. Or so it seems. But within a few hours, this aircraft will become the center of one of the greatest aviation mysteries in history. Because MH370 never arrived. It never made a distress call. It never declared an emergency. It never landed anywhere. It simply disappeared. This is not just a missing flight. This is a case that changed global aviation forever. Because for the first time in modern history, a commercial jetliner vanished in the age of satellites, radar tracking, and global communication systems. A Boeing 777, gone without explanation. Let's go back to the beginning. March 8, 2014. Kuala Lumpur International Airport. Nighttime operations are normal. Flight MH370 is scheduled for departure. Passengers begin boarding. Families say goodbye. Flight attendants prepare the cabin. Pilots perform final checks. Everything is routine. There is no sign of danger. No warning. No irregularity. The aircraft pushes back from the gate. Engine start. Taxi begins. Runway lights reflect off the fuselage. The Boeing 777 moves into position. Cleared for takeoff. At that moment, nothing suggests this flight will become history. But history is exactly what is about to be made. The aircraft lifts into the night sky. Smooth climb. Stable ascent. Normal operations. Inside the cabin, passengers settle in. Some watch screens. Some sleep. Some talk quietly. It feels like any other long-haul flight. Air traffic control communicates with the cockpit. Standard instructions. Normal frequency. No signs of distress. Everything is stable. Then comes the final routine transmission. At 1:19 a.m. The captain speaks. Good night, Malaysian 370. That is the last confirmed voice communication from MH370. A normal sign-off. No panic. No tension. No alarm. Just routine aviation protocol. And then something changes. The aircraft disappears from civilian radar. At first, controllers are not alarmed. Radar gaps happen occasionally. Signals can drop. Systems can glitch. So they wait. They try to reconnect. They attempt communication. No response. Minutes pass. Then more minutes. Still nothing. MH370 is gone. But here is where the story shifts from missing flight to global mystery. Because military radar data begins to show something unexpected. MH370 did not continue on its route. It turned away from Beijing, back across the Malay Peninsula, completely off course. This is the first major contradiction. Because commercial aircraft do not randomly change direction mid-flight, especially not without communication, especially not without emergency signals. So the question emerges, why did MH370 turn? Investigators begin reconstructing the timeline. What they find makes the situation even more disturbing. Because MH370 did not stop flying after disappearing from civilian radar. It continued for hours. This is critical, because it means the disappearance did not happen at one moment. It was a process, a sequence of events, a flight that continued long after everyone thought it was gone. Somewhere over vast oceanic darkness, MH370 was still airborne. But no one knew where, or under what control. Then comes the most important clue of all. Satellite communication data. Even after losing normal contact, the aircraft continued to handshake with a satellite system. These are automated signals, not voice communication, not flight tracking, but technical pings. Proof the aircraft system was still functioning, still powered, still responding. Each signal provides a rough distance, a ring of possible locations, expanding into the southern Indian Ocean, a region so remote that it is almost empty of human presence. And now investigators face a terrifying realization. MH370 may have flown for up to 7 hours after disappearing. 7 hours. Without communication. Without confirmation. Without control explanation. That changes everything. Because now this is no longer a simple disappearance. It is a prolonged unknown flight. A moving mystery across one of the largest oceans on Earth. Search operations begin. International teams are deployed. Aircraft are dispatched. Ships are sent into the Indian Ocean. Satellites are analyzed. Data is collected from every possible source. But there is a major problem. No one knows the exact location. Only a massive area, thousands of kilometers wide. And as search teams begin their mission, investigators realize something even more unsettling. The aircraft's final path suggests intention, not randomness, not chaos, a controlled deviation from its planned route, which raises a disturbing possibility. Someone may have been in control after the last communication. But this is where the evidence ends and the theories begin. And investigators are still far from understanding what really happened. Because the ocean is silent, and MH370 has not yet revealed its final secret. After MH370 vanished from civilian radar, the world entered a phase of confusion. At first, officials believed it was a standard aviation emergency. Maybe a crash. Maybe a technical failure. Maybe a hijacking. But within hours, it became clear this case was different. Because MH370 was not simply lost. It was missing without explanation. And that difference changed everything. Water Wave Phase 1, the global search begins. International aviation authorities immediately launched one of the largest search operations in history. Countries involved included Malaysia, China, Australia, United States, India, Vietnam, Thailand. Aircraft were deployed. Naval fleets were activated. Satellite data systems were scanned. Radar logs were reviewed again and again. But there was one major problem. No one knew where to look. The last confirmed radar point placed MH370 somewhere over the South China Sea. But military radar data suggested something else. A shocking detail. The aircraft had turned west, away from its destination, back across the Malay Peninsula, and into unknown territory. This single detail changed everything, because now investigators were not searching a crash site. They were searching a flight path, A moving aircraft that continued for hours after disappearing. Satellite Antenna Phase 2, the satellite discovery. The breakthrough came weeks later. From a satellite communication company. In Marsat, they revealed something critical. Even after MH370 disappeared from radar, it was still communicating. Not through voice, not through location tracking, but through automatic electronic handshakes. These signals were faint, but they were real, and they changed the entire investigation. Because each handshake gave a clue. Distance from satellite. Not exact location, but a ring, a curve, a possibility zone. When all data was combined, it pointed to one terrifying conclusion. MH370 likely flew south, far south, into the Indian Ocean, one of the most isolated regions on Earth. Compass Phase 3, the search area EXPNDS. Now the search zone became enormous. Over 60 million square kilometers of ocean were analyzed. Planes scanned from above. Ships covered the surface. Sonar systems searched underwater. But the ocean gave nothing easily. Because this region is deep, remote, storm-prone, poorly mapped underwater. It was like searching for a single object in a black void. Weeks passed. Then months. Still nothing. No wreckage. No signal. No confirmation. But the world was watching. Families were waiting. And pressure was building. Jigsaw Phase 4, first pieces of evidence. Then more than a year later, something happened. Wreckage began to appear. Washed up on distant shores. Thousands of kilometers away. The first confirmed piece. A flaperon found on Reunion Island. Later confirmed to belong to MH370. Then more debris. Wing parts. Interior panels. Structural fragments. All consistent with a Boeing 777. But here's the contradiction. The debris confirmed the aircraft crashed into the ocean. But not how. Not why. Not where exactly. Warning Phase 5, the big contradiction. Investigators now faced a deep contradiction. Modern aircraft do not simply vanish. They leave. Black box signals. Emergency communication. Radar trails. Debris clusters. But MH370 left almost none of that. Even more strange. The aircraft's final movement pattern suggested control. Not random failure. Not uncontrolled descent. But intentional navigation changes. This created two conflicting realities. Reality 1. The aircraft experienced mechanical failure and drifted. Reality 2. The aircraft was actively controlled for hours. Both cannot be fully true at the same time. Brain Phase 6, the main THURIS. Over time, investigators and experts developed several theories. Adult Airplane Theory 1, pilot involvement. Some experts suggest the captain or someone in the cockpit deliberately changed course. Evidence supporting this. Manual route deviation. Loss of communication systems. Controlled flight patterns. But major question remains. Why? No confirmed motive exists. No farewell message. No explanation. Gear Theory 2, systems failure. Another theory. A catastrophic electrical or mechanical failure. This could explain loss of communication, radar disappearance, confused tracking data. But problem. It does not fully explain controlled turns. Airplane Theory 3, hijacking. A third theory suggests external takeover. But no ransom demand. No group claimed responsibility. No communication from hijackers. So this theory remains unproven. Detective Theory 4, Unknown Factor. Some investigators admit something uncomfortable. We may not have all the data. Important evidence may be missing forever. Globe showing Europe-Africa Phase 7, the human impact. While experts debated theories, families were living a different reality. Waiting, hopping, struggling for closure. Thousands of lives connected to one unanswered question. Airports displayed missing posters. News channels repeated updates. Memorials were held. But answers never came. Water Wave Phase 8 Final Analysis. After years of investigation, satellite data narrowed the search. Debris confirmed ocean impact. Radar data confirmed unusual flight path. But still, no complete reconstruction exists. Because MH370 represents something rare in modern aviation. A total breakdown of certainty. High voltage final twist. Here is the most disturbing truth. MH370 disappeared in an era where almost every object on Earth is tracked. Phones, cars, ships, weather systems, even small drones. Everything leaves data. But a Boeing 777 carrying 239 people left almost nothing. That is the real mystery. Not just what happened, but how it was possible at all. Today, debris continues to be studied. Ocean surveys continue. Theories continue to evolve. But the main question remains unanswered. What really happened to MH370? Was it human intervention, technical failure, external takeover, or something still not understood? The ocean has not revealed its final secret. And maybe it never will. So now the question is yours. What do you believe really happened to Flight MH370?